Welcome to episode number 13 and season number 2 of the Go For 2 podcast. I am your host, Jackson Walsh. I got my friend, my buddy, my pal with his blank white wall behind him, Lucas Averett. How are you, buddy?
Hey, man. Don't be making fun of my blank white wall. What am I supposed to put there?
Listen, okay. So the other night, we uploaded our podcast. It was kind of a two-parter. So we had some in the day, some in the afternoon, because Discord, the service that we used, went out. And I got to see your blank white wall, and it looks fantastic. When you have the lights up in the background, it's like a starry night type of vibe. Little Vincent van Gogh, if you will. Bring some culture to the pod, okay? And I really enjoyed that. But and right now it looks really clean and it looks really nice and almost like it's like a modern feel. I guess is the best way to explain.
Modern and minimalist.
Indeed.
Here we go. Anywho, Mr. Jackson, I believe we have comments.
I got a bunch of comments. And guess who they're all from? Yours truly.
Are they literally all from Casey?
Literally all from Casey.
Woo!
I got quite a few. All right, some of these are kind of short, but I'm gonna throw them out to you. All right, here we go.
Come on.
Yeah. All right. From Casey, thank you, Casey. Brady has 6 rings. Jordan has 7. That's false. Jordan still carries the most rings as a player, I think. No, they both have 6, I think. Jordan has 6.
Keep talking. I'll look at them.
Okay. He said, yep, the Bosa brothers are better. J.J. Watt is just old and gets injured a lot. Ooh. Aiden, you're going to have to come in his neck for that one. Next comment from Casey again. Okay, boys. Maybe not a next Tom Brady, but the next big time if he plays for, like Alabama. Yeah, 6. I knew it was 6 rings. See, Casey, you're off the pack, my man. What's going on? Okay, so he's talking. Okay, so I know who he's talking about right here. Lucas, he's talking about that player that he was talking about from South Lake.
Okay. Yeah.
He said, okay, boys, maybe not the next Tom Brady, but he's definitely going to be a big time, like especially if he plays for a program like Alabama or OU or Clemson. Those are the top 3 teams, in his opinion, for NCAA. I would take that.
He definitely has a good chance to. I think Oklahoma is a good place for quarterbacks to go. Just saying.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley definitely knows what he's doing in terms of quarterback development. That's for sure. He was actually considered for Cowboys head coach. We didn't pull the trigger on him because he was too young, I think. We wanted we need more of an adult in the room. So.
Because you.
And not to say Lincoln Riley's not a good adult or a good coach. I'm just like, Mike McCarthy brings off that feel, you know?
Right.
So, anyway. Casey also said, Jackson, don't be a homer because Andy Dalton is on the Cowboys now. Look, man, I'm really comfortable and really happy we have Andy Dalton as a Cowboys backup. And I think that the Cowboys did it as a strategic move for the negotiating with Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak came to the end, to the table at the final moments, the 11th hour, trying to get a deal done, but there just simply wasn't enough time. I think he thought that Jerry was going to cave, but Jerry didn't. And the realistic thing is we offered him $33 to $35 million per year with $100 million guaranteed, and he said no. So if he's going to say no to that, there's something else I can do for you. We'll see how it goes this season and see if he's worth 40. That's pretty much his argument. So he has this season to make that argument. Okay, we got 2 more left, Lucas, again from Casey. Casey, thank you so much for the comments, brother. We really do appreciate it. You are that guy. You are the MVP, especially this week. All right, boys. I have to say the Titans are over the Cowboys just because I have no more faith on the boys. Listen here, Casey.
Yeah.
Look, okay, he comes at you sideways all the time about Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry and Braves and everybody else, but you have no more faith in the boys? This is your hometown team, man.
What's that say about what he really thinks about the boys? Ooh.
He must think we are some hot garbage. All right, speaking of the Cowboys, his final comment. Jackson, Cowboys are a big boo. You know why? Too much drama with Jerry Jones and his players. I'm rooting for CeeDee Lamb, but that's about it. Bucks, Saints, Patriots, and Chiefs will be the teams that I'll be watching primarily. And just for you, Lucas, I guess I'll watch Ryan Tannehill just to see if he has another great year. So, Jackson, Lamar is in trouble this year. He's trash unless he's a great passer out of nowhere, but I doubt it. He says Lamar Jackson's in trouble this year. And that he said,
I think so.
He said trash.
I think he's definitely in trouble this year. I need to see what's going to happen, but, like, all this time, all these coaches pin up in their room and everything, you can't tell me that they haven't had every defensive coordinator in the league, especially the ones that are going to be playing Lamar Jackson this year.
Oh, yeah.
Watching the loss to the Chargers in the playoffs year before last, and then last year the loss against the Titans.
And the schemes used against him, yeah.
Make them throw the ball, and they can't win. It's just how it is. He's not that great of a passer. On his legs, he is elite. That is a fact. But
yeah,
he is
for sure.
And like if you look at all the quarterbacks, all the starting quarterbacks in the league in terms of pure passing ability, he's probably not even top 20.
He's definitely not top 10. Maybe top 15, maybe. We'll see how he does this year. But, I mean, maybe.
And pure passing ability.
Yeah. He's going to he needs help.
Andy Dalton's better than him.
For the rest of his team. In pure passing ability?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Lamar can...
He passed the ball pretty good last year.
Yeah, so good that he made bad
He had
throws
multiple 4-touchdown throwing games.
Interception. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, he only lost against the Titans. It's kind of his fault, but it's whatever.
I mean, he did lose against the Titans, and it was his fault. We were prophets because we predicted exactly how it was going to happen, Lucas. Ain't that wild?
Anyways, before we get off on this tangent, because Jackson just loves to come and bat for the
Big
boys.
trust.
Never do that again.
I love Mark Ingram, dude. That dude he cracks me up.
I think we do have some stuff to talk about. We've had some recent news come out regarding the NFL season.
Yes.
And COVID and the NFL and the NFLPA. And so Jackson's going to let us in on all of it because I'm lazy and I didn't do any research. And
Yeah. So again, because Lucas is lazy and didn't do any of the research. No, I'm kidding. Lucas is a fantastic human being, and I'm glad that he's here with me today. All right. Especially when you got your glasses on, Lucas. You look like extra smart and like studious when you have that on. I don't know. Brings out that.
So studious. I don't know what you're even talking about.
It's like you know way more about what's going on. Okay. So anyway, the NFL and the NFL Player Association has reached an agreement. Now, at the time of this recording, there's still more details coming out. They're still agreeing on several more things, but they've agreed on kind of these baseline things that are going to happen with this year for the NFL. So, first thing is the traditional roster size, right, for teams entering preseason is about 90 players, right? This is because you have your traditional 53, then you add on several players that are trying to make the team, the practice squad, undrafted free agents that you bring in for private workouts, so on and so forth, okay? Traditionally, it's 90. It's being cut to 80. So that means there are for a lot of ball clubs out there, some teams that have signed undrafted free agents. They have signed these free agents to a deal that are now they're going to have to void those agreements and let some players go because they won't have roster room to bring them to camp.
In here, I am surprised that they went down in the roster number. I honestly expected them to go up.
Really? Okay.
Well, the only reason I expect them to go up is because, in theory, if you're doing testing for COVID every week, every day, whatever they're doing, and you have a player that tests positive for it, they can't play. So then you have more people there to fill in spots for players.
Yes, and I can answer that question too, because I think their thinking of this is the less players that we bring in, the less people that we have around, the lower the percentage chance of somebody becoming positive. I think that's how they're approaching it. Also because of the testing, and yes, it is. There is daily testing, and I have details on that too. So roster size down to 80. So there's going to be some people that have already reached agreements that they're going to have to let go, and so teams are going to have to figure that out. There's also no preseason games. That's been confirmed. There will not be any preseason games this year for the NFL. Instead, they're going to go straight into Week 1. From what I've been watching, people are saying this makes a lot of sense. The NFLPA definitely wanted this. The owners wanted 2 preseason games, but they're willing to cave on this to have football this year because by the time they were able to, because training camp has been delayed, by the time they were to get in and get OTAs and do the testing and get workouts, by the time they were able to get into actual full pads and start hitting each other, it just wasn't going to be enough time. Of course, the owners wanted preseason games for what? TV deals, open up the stadium, let people come in and buy hot dogs. So There is no preseason game this year. No word yet on Hard Knocks. I would assume that there's no Hard Knocks because there's no preseason. Traditionally, the Hard Knocks HBO show covers a team during the preseason heading into week 1. Be curious to see kind of what they do leaning in towards this. So that's that. Now let's get into the testing, right? So we have no preseason games. Traditional roster site. We're bringing down the rosters. Let's go into COVID-19 protocol. So there is daily testing required for every player for a minimum of 2 weeks. So that's going to happen to every player. They're starting to report. I think the Cowboys started reporting this past Monday. I know the rookies did. Titans, I believe, start reporting tomorrow, Lucas, Thursday. That's the day this pod will come out. So reporting today for the Titans. And so they have to go 2 weeks of daily testing. Now that testing is going to be done by a independent laboratory called BioReference Laboratories, right? This is reported on ESPN. BioReference Laboratories. Each team is going to get 120 tests per day per team, right? And that's provided at a flat rate to the entire league. So the league has a deal with this laboratory, and I'm not exactly sure if these different labs are spread across the country. I imagine they would be. To do that, each additional test past that 120, right? So you have 80 players, so that gives you 40 tests left over for coaching staff, training staff, etc. Each test past that, however, costs an additional $125 per the team, and so the team will incur that cost if they need more tests. So, right. So that's being done now. The return time, which is very important for these tests, is reported to be 24 hours or less on the return time per the daily test. So that's going to be done for all the players. And then that 2-week period can be adjusted based on the positivity rate and I guess how that's going. So they're starting off with the first 2 weeks of reporting to camp. Now, here's a key part too. Players must have multiple negative tests before they're even allowed into the facilities. So they need to be tested every day for a little bit and have multiple negative tests before they even allow you in, just to kind of rule out the false negatives. Right. If a player does test positive, here's the mandate for that. Players test positive, they must wait at least 10 days before they enter the building again or have 2 negative tests in a row to enter back in. So that's kind of the protocol. Players are going to be wearing proximity recording devices to better track and see if any outbreaks develop, and just to kind of give them a little bit more heads up on how these things are happening. So if players are testing positive that are in a lot of certain drills, then they can eliminate those drills and kind of react as they need to. So anyway, Lucas, I know that was a lot of info in a very short period of time. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction, definitely.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff that's kind of expected, the daily tests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. Whatever they got to do to play football, man. Do it. We need it.
I feel you, man.
Kind of makes me excited, though, too.
Yeah, so the NFL officially set to kick off in 50 days, right? Mm-hmm. So in 50 days, we're going to have football. So start of September, week 1, Thursday night. I can't remember exactly what that game is. I think
What's that, 7 weeks? We got 7 weeks
7
left?
weeks. 7 weeks. We'll get all the way through August and the rest of July. First week of September. Super. What's up?
I was going to say, we're doing week 11 predictions.
Yes.
7 weeks. Kind of, our stuff's lining up perfectly.
It's lining up, isn't it?
I'm liking it.
It's lining up, man. It's gonna be great. So, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. But my personal take on this is I'm really happy. We're gonna have football this year. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction. Sucks to have no preseason games, but it is what it is. Willing to make, any sacrifices that we need to do. Also, the NFL also released today that every fan will be required to wear masks entering the stadiums to watch the games. And I think the stadiums are going to be at 25% capacity to start. And so I imagine they'll spread some people out and go from there. So super happy. We're going to have football this year, Lucas. It's happening. And I think you're right. I think it's kind of much needed, and I really can't wait for it. Should be a fantastic time. We'll keep you guys updated as further developments continue to happen throughout the league with those agreements. But that's all that's happened right now. A lot of news. Oh, also, side note, this doesn't really matter, right? But Antonio Brown officially announced his retirement on Twitter the other day. So I guess good riddance to the clown, right, Lucas?
I mean, the clown can do whatever the clown wants, so he's going to be back. Probably.
Probably.
Another side note, since we're doing side notes right now, apparently, just based off of Twitter, right?
Yeah.
There was some news. I didn't go into it real deep. I don't know who reported it originally, but there was a credible source, whatever that may be, could be nothing. That says that Jadeveon Clowney is expected to sign with the Tennessee Titans. He is just waiting. Him and the team are both waiting for him to clear a physical.
Yeah.
So COVID's really got in the way of that. And also, apparently, a fan walked into a store and seen him the other day in South Carolina and asked him what kind of music he'd been listening to lately. And he said country music. And so Titans Twitter blew up on that because...
Yeah. Home of country music, Tennessee, Nashville.
Yeah. And so, a little bit on the clown.
I think you're going to have him, right? I think you're going to have him, especially pending that physical. So, of course, you got to go through the COVID-19 protocol, make sure everything's fine, and then he's going to be a Titan. Yeah, that's super exciting. Oh, also, small side note here before we get into our predictions, Mr. Lucas. Mike Zimmer reached an agreement on extension for a contract with the Minnesota Vikings. So well deserved there. He's been doing really well with that team, and of course that's kind of we're kind of leaning towards them winning a lot of games this year, Lucas.
So let's get into our predictions then, Jack.
Let's do it.
Week 11 predictions. Ooh, these are great. I can't wait to see at the end what the actual records of the teams are.
I was tempted
some outliers.
Yeah, I think so too. I was tempted to go through and see where everybody was at this moment, but I think I'm going to have way too many wins for a couple teams. Yeah,
well, I don't want any bias. I don't want us to be oh, the Bengals have only won one game, they need to win more or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So starting off with our Thursday night football game, Cardinals at the Seahawks, Jackson.
Cardinals at the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks at home, my man. I do. I got Russell Wilson. And I think one kind of key ingredient with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. I'm gonna have something on that later. But yeah, super excited to see what the Seahawks can do. I just think it's just too much for Kyler Murray to handle, especially Thursday night on the road.
Yeah, I also think the Seahawks definitely going to win Thursday night football. They're at home. Russell Wilson's in the lights. It's going to be special.
Yeah,
of course. Titans at the Ravens.
Titans at the Ravens. Listen, man, we've been giving the Titans a lot of wins. Okay, I know exactly what happened last year, right? In that exact same stadium, in the playoffs, and I think the Ravens are going to come for blood, man. I don't know, man. I feel like the Ravens are going to take this game, and you're probably going to hate me for it.
So I'm actually going to pick the Titans to win this game.
Okay.
Because number one, it's week 11. Derrick Henry's going to be full stride. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Derrick Henry to be full stride, and I'm expecting Lamar to take a step back this year. Like Casey was saying, it's going to be harder for him this year.
I think he has to take a step back. Yeah.
I think we're going to have Clowney, which is going to increase our pass pressure.
Okay.
And we're going to have Christian Fulton, who is going to want to tilt some heads, I think. And I look at this as being a good game for him to come in and get some picks. Maybe make a play.
I feel you.
A young Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, we're all in agreement that Lamar Jackson most likely will not have another MVP-like performance, at least in the back-to-back year. I'm assuming he might have one later on. It's just too hard to do, especially to replicate a 14-2 record again.
And I
highly doubtful that's going to happen. But
I do want to say, we've been picking them to win some games because I don't think this is going to happen, but something I could see happening as a possibility. Look at the Panthers, Super Bowl.
Then they fell off.
That season was amazing, and then the next year was a completely different team, and it's because Cam carried that team, And I don't know if Lamar can go out there and do what he did last year again.
He's gonna need a lot of help from his team, right? He's gonna need Mark Ingram to go off. He's gonna need Hollywood Brown to really step up. So, but I like what they did in their draft with their defense, which I think is gonna help them. So anyway, next game.
Next up, Bengals at Washington.
I don't think I have Washington winning a single game this year, regardless of what their team name is. They're in inner turmoil. I think Joe Burrow's going to have a day. Bengals.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm actually going to go Washington this game.
Really? Okay.
I think they'll be at home. Chase Young maybe get some pressure on the young quarterback, and I mean they gotta put something together.
Yeah.
Like one of those weeks where
I think I might be.
Joe Burrow just has a bad week, maybe, or something.
I think I might. Yeah, I think I might be really underestimating Washington. I mean, they do bring in Ron Rivera, defensive-minded head coach, able to kind of revitalize the defense. And maybe I'm partly biased too because of the NFC East rivalry, and maybe I'm partly biased too because everything going on with the Washington organization as of now, that gets really deep and into detail with stuff even outside of football. But I don't know, man. I just feel like Joe Burrow's going to come in and win those games. So I'm sure I got a couple games wrong with Washington this year, but I just don't see him being a good team yet.
Falcons at the Saints.
Falcons at the Saints. This one's an interesting game for me. I still have this. I have the Saints at home. Matty Ice coming in on the road. We've had this conversation multiple times, right? Depends what Matty Ice we get this season. Do we get, MVP candidate 2018 and heading to the Super Bowl, or do we get average kind of run of the mill injured Matty Ice team? I just think the Saints just have too much.
Right. Yeah. I mean everything you said. Honestly.
Yeah.
Saints. Next game, Steelers at Jacksonville Jaguars.
I got the Steelers on the road, man. I'm really looking at the Steelers to have a really good year. I think they're going to come out and win the AFC North, Lucas.
The year that they put together last year, just the coaching that was displayed last year with the Steelers, the defensive determination to really try to keep that team in the playoffs.
Minka Fitzpatrick was huge too.
And now he gets a full year with them. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the Steelers play. Other than the game against the Titans, where I'm hoping they play bad.
Of course. Naturally.
Packers at the Colts.
Packers at the Colts, man. This one, you're going to say, Jackson, I can't believe you would pick this, but I'm picking the Colts at home against Green Bay. I like their defense more. I like their coaching more. And I don't know, man. It just seems like the Colts are going to have it together this year, and I know you hate to hear that, and I know it would be really convenient for the Packers to win this game for AFC South implications, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's going to be a back-and-forth game, just kind of one of those, like, really entertaining games to watch.
Yeah, so I'm going with the Colts also. They're at home. I think they're going to outcoach the Packers, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers aren't as good against more physical teams.
Yeah.
The Colts' offensive line is going to be amazing again.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Quentin Nelson. They're always going to be good with him there, and I think they're going to be a run-first team, especially with Phillip Rivers. And I don't really like the idea of keeping the ball away from Aaron Rodgers when he already struggled as much as he did last year, right? So I really think the Colts win.
Colts win at home, man. That's what we're thinking.
Patriots at the Texans.
I got the Texans at home. For once, I think Houston's going to do something right. At this point, we're kind of going dark here. We're not exactly sure exactly who's going to be starting. If it's going to be Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton, and I'm sure it might be a mixture throughout the season. I think the Texans are a more well-rounded team at this point. I think the Patriots just don't have enough on offense, regardless of who's at the quarterback position. And the Texans are going to need to put together some kind of crazy magical game, right? You got all these different weapons: Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, David Johnson. You're hoping he has a rebound year. You kind of rebuilt the offensive line. You're going all in. So, it comes down to Deshaun Watson being simply the better quarterback, and they had the better put together team at this point. So I'm going with the Texans at home.
Yeah, so I'm going with the Patriots this week.
Okay.
The reason I'm going with the Patriots is because I think Bill's going to outcoach them.
That's without a doubt.
Game.
Okay.
You know, and I don't see. I feel like the Texans, when they lose games like this, they make mistakes. The Patriots are not going to be making a bunch of mistakes this year, especially given that they don't have Tom Brady. They don't have the weapons that they necessarily need. So I see them being extra careful, and this could be a low-scoring game. I mean, this could be solved from like a 9-7 game, like where the Patriots
I can see that
3 field goals.
I feel like that's going to be kind of the story for the Patriots this year, right? They're not going to come out and go toe to toe with the Patrick Mahomes and try and drop 40 on somebody. They're going to win these close, nail-biting, disciplined games where the game plan, the coaching really comes through, and the defense needs to shine. You got Stephon Gilmore, who Madden rating 99, right, for a reason, best cornerback in the game, at least according to the Madden franchise. So, yeah, their defense is definitely going to be a struggle for the Texans. I just feel like with the weapons that the Texans have, they get lucky on one home run ball, and that's kind of the separation.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have the Eagles at the Browns. This is a good game.
This is a fantastic game, and I'm definitely going to be rooting for Cleveland in this one, but I just don't think they have it. I think the Eagles go on the road. The Eagles always kind of have those road victories, right, where it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to win these games, and it's kind of hard and difficult losing some games at home, but they go on the road and they beat teams that they really should not just beat. Coaching is going to come into this for me. Doug Peterson, as opposed to Frank Whitehurst, whoever the Browns coach is now. I don't even know his name, but I mean the Browns, right? But yeah, I got the Eagles on the road as much as I need them to lose this game.
So I have the Browns winning.
Okay, well I'm gonna go with you on this one. I would hope so.
So I have the Browns winning this game, Jack, just because number one, they're at home. Week 11 by now, Carson Wentz is going to be hurt.
Okay, that's a good point. They don't have a backup to save him this year.
Yeah, but like on a real note, though, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, Odell.
They should be winning a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
I mean, they're going to – Myles Garrett, yeah. I think this is a game that they could run away with if they all come out popping. They're all clicking together. I think it'd be awesome.
We saw that a couple times last year, too. Like, when the Browns were clicking, man, they were dropping 40, 45 easy. Right? It's just, can they stay clicking and can they keep that team cohesion moving forward, right? So I'm anxious to see what they do. Would be kind of nice to see Cleveland back in the playoffs again. Haven't seen that in quite a bit. So, well, with a 17 playoff this year, their chances are better than ever.
So up next we got the Lions at the Panthers.
Yeah, this is a good game for me. I think kind of back and forth. I'm gonna go with the Lions on the road. I'm gonna go with Matt Stafford here.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions too, so that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool, right? It just kind of seems like one of those games, man, where it's not like necessarily like a trap game, but it's like one of those tough defensive kind of back and forth. I think Matt Patricia is going to have the edge in coaching as opposed to Matt Rule, and for the simple statement of being we don't know how Matt Rule is going to coach the NFL. We haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like Matt Stafford's going to come out, and the Panthers are a little overhyped coming into this year.
Yeah, definitely agree with everything you just said. Chargers at the Broncos, Jackson.
I got the Chargers on the road here, and I know you don't like the Chargers winning a lot of games. But I do, man. I think they got a lot of different pieces. As long as they still have one of those Bosa brothers, and Keenan Allen, man, I got some faith in them, especially against some of these lower tier teams like Denver.
So I think this definitely be a good game defensive wise. I think both sides are going to be great at rushing the passer.
Yeah.
If you got either one of these halfbacks on your fantasy team, you need to start them because I think both halfbacks are going to have a good day.
Yes.
But I got the Broncos winning.
Okay.
I just think I think at the end of the day, the Broncos do something a little extra, right? They're at home, weird things happen.
That's true. Playing a Mile High Stadium is definitely not easy, not for the faint at heart, for sure. It's one of the toughest places to play for a reason. The altitude is just insane. So they're going to have a real advantage this year, especially when it comes to everything with COVID-19 protocol and traveling on the road, and teams not being able to get there in advance to get used to the altitude. They're going to have a real advantage at home, I think, this year.
All right, Jackson. Cowboys at the Vikings.
Okay. Now, in typical Cowboys fashion, this is what's going to happen. This is going to be a big-time game at a big-time moment, afternoon. It's going to be America's game of the week, okay? That's just what's going to happen. Last time we played the Vikings, we fell dramatically short, especially in a close game that we really needed to win. I think the same holds true here again. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home. Reason being, because of typical Cowboys fashion, like I said before, we're going to need the Eagles to lose to the Browns to make something happen in the division. And, of course, the Eagles are going to win, and we're going to lose our game, and we're going to create more separation for ourselves. Because what else happens with the Dallas Cowboys, Lucas? What else happens? That's exactly what happens, too. So, I don't know, man. I feel like the Vikings match up really, really good with us. And I can't keep giving the Cowboys all these damn wins, so going with the Vikings.
I've got the Vikings winning. I've got the Vikings winning too, Jack. The Vikings are going to be at home, and it's also just like you said, I like how the Vikings match against you guys.
They do. They match against us really well.
Yeah, I really like it, and I like their coach way better than I like your coach.
No harm here, bud. He hasn't coached in the Cowboys uniform yet, so I can't defend that yet. So
yeah, Chiefs at the Raiders.
Chiefs all the way, man. Sorry, Las Vegas. Patrick Mahomes has money to spend and money to blow in the Sin City. So I think he's going to make it rain, and I think that the Raiders, Henry Ruggs versus Tyreek Hill, we got the matchup of these two speedsters, right? However, I like the Chiefs' defense more than I like the Raiders' defense. They're not going to be able to contain Tyreek Hill, man, and Travis Kelce and all the different weapons. And and the way you're shaking your pen, you're about to throw a wrench at me, but I'll let you keep talking. But I got the Chiefs on the road.
I'm picking the Chiefs too, but I do want to say the Raiders have one hope.
Who's that?
Marcus Mariota.
Ooh.
I believe he might actually be 3-0 against the Chiefs as a starter.
He might be starting by this time, Lucas, because we've heard reports, and John loves him, Marcus Mariota. Okay, seriously, Casey, whoever else is watching, Aiden and Jennifer and all you guys, please do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and watch Marcus Mariota quarterback film room with John Gruden. When he was coming out of Oregon, fresh off the Heisman Trophy and heading into the draft class, Gruden, he was at Monday Night Football at the time, and he would do this quarterback camp. And he would bring a guy into the film room, and they would talk and do stuff on the whiteboard. He loved Mariota and how he approached the game and his thought process. And I think he's just looking for an excuse to get rid of Derek Carr. I think he's going to end up starting Marcus Mariota at least by the halfway point of the season.
I was kind of trying to see. So I know that. Marcus beat him in the playoffs twice.
Yes. He didn't beat him, but you guys were at home last year.
He's 2-0 as a starter, 3-0 just against them. Or I guess since we played him in the playoffs, he'd be 3-1 if you count his non-starter record. But he caught his own pass. He threw a block for Derrick Henry. Okay, yeah. So we beat them the same year we beat them in the playoffs. I think we beat them twice, actually, or maybe it was the year before that. Like Ryan Suckup kicked a huge last-minute field goal, and then in the other game, Marcus caught his own field goal. So, just saying, Marcus Mariota 2-0 against the Chiefs as a starter. All right, only hope.
Only hope for the Raiders at this point. Start Mariota. Otherwise, we got the Chiefs.
Last game, Jackson, we got Rams at the Buccaneers.
This is a game. This is a Monday Night Football game that is going to be very exciting to watch, right? Here, and let me just set the stage for you, Lucas, okay? You have two of the biggest markets in all of football. You have LA with the Rams. You have Tampa Bay and Florida with the Buccaneers. You have the GOAT, right? The GOAT quarterback. You have Jared Goff, who wants revenge against the GOAT quarterback for the Super Bowl loss that he had 2 years prior. You have Sean McVay, the up-and-coming coach, right? The guy that people who are literally like using his offense as a template for what they wanted to do with their system. Then you have Bruce Arians, a profound quarterback guru, guy who's been doing this for a long time, who retired, who Tampa Bay brought back from his actual house and said, we want you here. We want you to create change in Tampa. You have high-flying stars on both sides, all culminating together inside of Tampa Bay, Florida, for this magnificent game where Tom Brady will crush Jared Goff's dreams once and for all again. Tampa Bay just has too much. The Rams have a cap disaster that cannot be overcome here. If we look at area of the game, they have a better quarterback, right? They have a better running back. They have better receivers. They have a better defense. They have a better coach. It's all lining up here. This is Tampa's game to lose, and if the Rams can come in to Brady's hometown here, and not hometown, but home field, and win this game, then that will be them making a statement. But for me, it's the Bucs' game to lose.
I think the Rams are going to win.
What?
I know.
Really?
I'm thinking of 2 players. You ready?
Jalen Ramsey and Cooper Kupp.
You got Jalen. Cooper Kupp?
Is that who you're thinking of?
No.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald.
That's a good pick. That's okay.
Okay, and like it or not, the Rams are going to put up some yards.
Definitely are.
I know the Bucs have a good defense, but
really good rush defense.
I'm looking at some Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey keeping the Rams in there as best they can, and I think there's a chance they win, so I'm going with them.
Okay, fair enough, man.
That's it, Mr. Jackson. Anyways, Jackson, now we got Take It or Leave It.
Dude, that's my favorite part of the show. I'm so ready. Let's do it.
For those of you who don't know, real quick, Take It or Leave It is a segment we do every single week where most of the time I ask Jackson like 5 statements or whatever, and he questions statements, whatever, and he's take it, leave it, tells me what he thinks. I don't let him know what's happening. This week, I'm giving him 3 things. He's going to give me 3 things.
Mix it up a bit.
We're going to roll with it. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastical time. So I will go first, Jackson.
All right, do it. Lay it on me. What's up?
Number 1.
Okay.
Given that the NFL has passed this new mask rule where that, for those of you who don't know, if you go to an NFL game, you have to wear a mask this year.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to go to a game? If you had tickets, everything, like don't think of cost or anything, just like, hey, here's you a ticket, go to this football game. Would you go and wear a mask all day?
I think so. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, and here's the thing. Because I've been to, some family gatherings and stuff, and that was kind of the requirement. We gotta wear masks, right? So, and that's just kind of the deal. And where we're at right now, I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't bother me at all. Especially if you get to go to an NFL game, especially with reduced capacity, you're gonna have a little more room. The parking is gonna be a little bit better. You're gonna have shorter lines of concessions. That's how I'm choosing to think about it. So, yeah, I'd go to a game, absolutely.
Just a follow-up question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that like you don't feel like your safety's in question?
Me personally, the way I think about it is that, I got a couple family members who are kind of, compromised. So I just really have to that would definitely weigh into my decision. I think if I went to one of these games, I would kind of self-quarantine myself for a little bit from my family members, at least those specific family members, because I really worry about their safety as well. But for me personally, I'd go to a game and then I'd do it. I think it'd be fun to go to a game.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I think everybody, when they go to these mass gatherings, you just have to be responsible. Like if you feel sick, don't put yourself around other people. Don't go out. Just if something happens there, then you take care of yourself and just make sure you don't hurt anybody else. It's just everybody takes some responsibility. Really, what it comes down to.
Next question, Mr. Jackson. Take
What's
it or
up?
leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL.
In the NFL. I think so. I'm trying to think of a quarterback who's more overrated. Like I can't. Well, I could see Lamar Jackson being the most overrated quarterback in the NFL for where he is right now. You're saying underrated or overrated? I'm sorry.
Overrated.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill's the most overrated quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like there's like all these Titan fans that are like, oh, he's a god, but then everyone like outside thinks he's bad.
Oh,
so overrated.
Oh, no. Lamar Jackson is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, I think. I think he's a solid quarterback and a fantastic young and up and coming player. And I think, he belongs in the top 15 conversation for quarterback. Definitely for talent, he's up there as well. And I really can't wait to see how he kind of makes his impact on the game long term.
Number 2? In pure talent, maybe he's like number 2.
Yeah, pure talent, absolutely. Like the dude's fantastic, right? So as he develops and gets bigger and gets stronger, and really develops that arm strength, there's no telling to see how he can be. But he's not. I don't think he's gonna have another 14-2 season. I think defense are gonna start to figure it out. But that's part of the challenge, man. Being a good quarterback over your entire career, you have to be able to adapt and you have to be able to change up your style and learn new things. And that's part of what makes Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger and those guys so good, is that they're able to adapt and improve from year to year and learn new things and throw defenses off in this way. And I think he's got a really good coach and a really good opportunity to do something like that. But right now, being people saying that he's the number 2 quarterback in the league, no, it's Russell Wilson for me. So he's the most. So leave it.
I agree, 100%. Leave it. I actually want to save my last one for last.
You have a last one? Okay. So I have 3 for you. So I'll do those, and then you can do your last one. Number 1, Mr. Lucas. Take it or leave it. DK Metcalf, I mentioned him earlier on in the show, will reach 1,000 receiving yards this season.
Take it.
Take it?
You're playing with Russell Wilson, and you're one of his favorite targets, I think, especially in your second year. Yeah, you got to take it.
I think so too. Also, I saw on a list, and we'll talk about it more, I think, next show, but in a list of top wide receivers I sent you, 32, he was not on that list, and I was a little upset about that. I feel like he belongs to the top 32 wide receivers in the NFL. I was actually kind of baffled.
I mean, the easiest way to make that list is just take the number 1 wide receiver from each team.
Michael Gallup was on that list.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you. We'll talk about that next show. But I was just curious because of that. So yeah, I take it as well. DK Metcalf. I think you're one of the best targets, especially with Russell Wilson. I saw earlier today another showing of the Seahawks. They replayed that video of Pete Carroll calling DK and telling him he's going to be a Seahawk, and they exchanged some tears. It was an emotional moment. So he's really happy to be playing with him. So I think he's going to be a big part in the future. All right, number 2, Mr. Lucas, Take it or leave it. AJ Green, we talked a little bit about him last week, right? He wants to retire a Bengal, wants to stay there, signed his franchise tender, seems to be healthy. And he said, so I will say this again, he used to be kind of one of the perennial wide receivers in the game, right? He was in the top 5 discussion for a couple years in a row. My question to you is, take it or leave it, AJ Green will emerge as a Pro Bowler once again this year. It's hard.
I'm going to say take it.
Okay.
Because with the looming thought, specifically in the Beagle franchise and outside in fans in other places, I think that if we really think this is going to be his last season, he's going to retire.
He said he wants to play 4 more. He said he wants to play 4 more years.
Really?
Yes, he wants to play 4 more.
I'm sorry.
But he signed his. He wants to retire. He wants to retire a Bengal, and he signed his franchise tag. So he's hoping. He's hoping that he plays well enough this year, proves that he's injury free, and the Bengals re-sign him next year. That's what he wants to do.
Okay, well, just for fun, I'm going to take it.
Okay,
because
I like that.
He does have Joe Burrow, and AJ is his number 1 target, and I really think
they could develop a connection.
He's coming back. Like, he could do some flashy stuff that excites fans in the NFL again.
AFC North is actually going to be pretty exciting this year, I think. You got Joe Burrow. You got the Steelers coming back in. You know what I mean? The Browns, they should be better with a new coach. All right, my final thing. It's, again, revolving around the AFC North. Number 3, take it or leave it, Mr. Lucas. Mike Tomlin will win Coach of the Year this year.
I'm leaving it.
You're leaving it?
If he
Okay.
couldn't win Coach of the Year last year, then I don't know what he'd have to do to win Coach of the Year this year. If they are undefeated, he'll win it. But apparently they're just going to snub the man because he should have got Coach of the Year last year.
He should have got Coach of the Year last year. For me, I think I might take it for funsies. Here's why. I think they're in a really good position to have a really good bounce back year this year. I think they're going to win the AFC North. I think James Conner's going to come back and put himself back in that conversation of a top running back in the AFC. Not the top. I think that crown belongs to Derrick Henry until somebody takes it from him. But I think James Conner will put himself back in that conversation. I think a healthy Big Ben is going to mean a lot for this team. I liked what they brought in with Minka Fitzpatrick. And, of course, I love the coaching. You and me advocated last year. He absolutely should have won it. I think Mike Tomlin's kind of in his prime, especially with coaching right now. And I think because the Steelers will have a bounce back year and make their way into the playoffs, I'm thinking, before I go into our records, possibly as a top 4 seed into that playoff, as a win in their division, then I think he takes it. I don't know, man. But his two biggest, he has 3 big opponents for that title, Lucas. Can you guess who they are?
Kyle Shanahan.
No. His three for me, I think this year, going into this year, Pete Carroll, Bruce Arians, right? And then, oh my gosh, I just had my third. It was in my head and it just went away. Andy Reid.
What?
Andy Reid. I'm thinking about coaching candidates going into potential coach of the year for this next year. I think of Andy Reid with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, if he has another successful year, right? He's immediately in the nomination. I think Pete Carroll, what he's able to do with Seattle and them having a better year than San Francisco, right? Last year, okay? Putting themselves in the NFC frontrunner race. I also think with Bruce Arians and the revival of Tampa Bay and bringing on the GOAT, right? I think those 3 are the people that, along with Mike Tomlin, are going to emerge as coach of the year candidates, those 4 people.
Okay.
I know that take it or leave it kind of evolved into a later segment, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking.
To end the pod here, Mr. Jackson, I have my final take it or leave it.
What you got for me?
As I'm sure you know, today is Zeke's birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Zeke.
Take it or leave it, he is in Cabo right now for his birthday.
I'm sure he is, man. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it. I think he's back. The Stars, the Cowboys, are going to have to report to Frisco soon, and I think Zeke would, if he would travel outside of the country, the restrictions would be insane on him coming back and returning in with his team. I bet he wants to be in Cabo right now for his birthday, and if he could, he would. But I'm willing to bet he's close and in town. But that is hilarious, and I'm glad that you saved that one for the last one, Lucas. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining us here on the pod. A little bit of a shorter one for you guys today, but again, really do appreciate. Yeah, I guess maybe our other ones have been going a little bit longer, but I enjoyed it all the same. So just to recap real quick, no preseason football, but we will have a football season this year. Kicks off in 50 days from now from this date of recording. Can't wait for that to happen. Me and Lucas are continuing to give out our predictions, and we'll give you the full spiel there at the end when we have those done. Also, be sure to follow us on YouTube and find us where all podcasts can be heard: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc. You guys know the deal. Leave a like, leave a comment. We'll read your comments here at the beginning in case it gets lonely down there sometimes. So, but anyway, you guys have a fantastic and wonderful day. Stay healthy, wear your mask, do your part, and we love you. Bye.
Okay, so technically we're done with the pod, right, Jack?
We stopped recording we stopped recording like 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, so I just went to the store. I hadn't left all day, right? Because I'm a loser. I sat at home all day. All right, we have to do an emergency pod session
edition
real quick to add something. Okay, so Mr. Casey wanted my address a while back. You know, I'm expecting some sketchy stuff, right? For sure. I mean, you just never know what you're gonna get from Casey, right? Right. Like we were already we had thrown around some we were contemplating he might send me like a Tom Brady bobblehead or something, right? Like as a joke. I thought it might be. But he sent me something. He sent me something really, really, really cool. I'm sorry I couldn't include this in the podcast earlier today, but it will be on the episode. Yes. But he sent me some Ryan Tannehill cards and an AJ Brown card, and they even come in sleeves and everything. And they had a nice little note.
Yo.
And these are awesome. So I think it's 2 from when he was at Texas A&M. Correct?
Yeah.
And then got a Miami Dolphins card, says 4,000 yards on it, and then an AJ Brown card when he was at Ole Miss. And that is just awesome.
Isn't that cool, dude?
Made my day, Mr. Casey. So I just wanted to tell you and your family thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it. That's actually like really, really awesome. I was taken aback. Y'all are so nice.
Yeah, yo, thank you, Casey. I will say Casey does have like the biggest card collection I've ever seen in my entire life. Like this dude collects like all these different types of cards. He's probably sitting on like 10 grand worth of cards easy.
Well, he's got the sleeves and everything. Like these are awesome. Like these are really, really nice. I really appreciate it. That's so cool.
Casey, you were the man. You continue to be the #1 fan, dude, and we freaking love you. Seriously, whenever you are free, we got to get you on an episode of the pod. Like, I know we've had Tyler as a guest before. Yes. Like, I would love to have you, Casey. So seriously, let me know, and we'll figure it out. You got Zoom? I'll send you a Zoom link, bro. Like, we'll figure something out, and we'll get you on an episode of the podcast, and you could debate us directly and tell Lucas Ryan Tannehill's no good to his face. It'll be fun. But
That's right. And you know what? You say whatever you want to about him right now.
Say whatever you want, Mason. No, that's actually just really cool, man. That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, but we had to throw this emergency pod news flash thing in here just because that's incredible. That's awesome, and I really, really appreciate it.
Heck yeah! Thank you, Casey. Appreciate you, brother. We'll see you on the next one.